Oh no, my camera's not here. All right, let me stop this. Stop streaming. Oh no, it's back. It's back. It's all crazy though. All right, okay. Well, it's back. That's the thing. Okay. Whew. So I checked my logs, and apparently what happened was, I'm glad the world didn't get corrupted. Apparently what happened was a CPU error. I'm like, well, how do you get a CPU error? Well, it's because I have an undervolted by like I haven't undervolted my CPU, and I think I did it as much as I could, because you know a cooler CPU is better, especially when it's hot. But I think I did it too much, so I slightly pulled back on the undervolt, and now we're gonna see what happens. Anyways, I was talking about whiteness and how it only exists relative to blackness, because white doesn't exist. Like, there's no such thing as white. There's no white people, white culture, white country. It doesn't exist. There's no white. What people are that call themselves white are Europeans, basically. They're Europeans. They came from Europe. And not all people were given the privileges of whiteness. You know, they were immigrants. And so they weren't given a lot of the same privileges. They were never slaves. They never lost, you know, where they came from. But they weren't given privileges. Like the Irish had it rough when they first got here. And then the Italians had it rough. And then it was shitty to be a German. And then it was shitty to be Japanese. And over time, these groups got different levels of privilege from this thing called whiteness, which again exists only as a juxtaposition against blackness. What is blackness? It's enslavement. Blackness signified enslavement. But I've already shown you how black Americans have become an actual people. Have become their own people. Have their own history, have their own language, have their own culture. They're a thing. Whereas whiteness doesn't exist. It only exists in the taking away of rights from black people. So in a way, we can say that whiteness is slaver culture. That's essentially what it is. Whiteness is slaver culture, because white people aren't white. They're German, French, Italian, Belgian, Norwegian, whatever, right? Or a mix of these things. Whiteness only exists in the context of a slaver framework. And that's what it comes down to. What is the culture that is going to rule the United States? Will it be the slaver culture, or will it be the freedom culture, where people are free to be who they are? Now, I was telling you the story about how the United States had to combine the Yankees had to combine with the slavers in order to defeat the English Empire. But then they had a civil war, and nominally the Union, the Yankees, won out. But the slavers staged a coup and had their own dude in there for a while, Andrew Johnson, who protected the slaver culture and slaver society from total annihilation. And that allowed the slaver culture to live on to the present day. Now we're here. Now we're at this present moment. Like, they want you to believe that it was all done and over with the civil rights movement. But that's not the case. Because the slavers managed to roll back a lot of the gains made during the civil rights era. That's what I was talking about. So the only way slavers can tolerate a democracy as long as the slavers are the absolute majority. Slavers have to be the absolute majority. Because that way, in a democracy, if slavers are an absolute majority, they can control the state through sheer numbers in a democracy. Like, sure, everyone can vote for whatever they want, but we're the majority, and so we're gonna vote in a way that protects our interests, and that's the way it was. That's why slavers could exist within a democracy. But it's always been a battle to purge, to do two things: to purge the rights of the people who are not in the in-group, and to consolidate power, so that you could do away with democracy altogether and enforce the vision of the deity worshipped by slavers. I need to get pumpkins, so it's somewhat related. So, it was fine and dandy as long as they had superior numbers. However, the United States is moving towards. I had watermelons, dude. Where'd my watermelons go? Oh yeah, it's right there. Okay. And I need a hoe. Give me a hoe. There we go. I can farm land somewhere. Okay. So again, it was fine and slavers were fine and dandy with democracy as long as they were the absolute majority and that they controlled everything. Oh, that's right. I need water to keep it from like deteriorating unless I'm quick. I don't even need to like here, I need the seeds from that. And then how do you get oh yeah, I just 40 seeds. Alright, there, I got my seeds. This is such a bad farm, dude. You could do so much better. See, you can't plant it. It's gotta be done a certain way. Okay, so we're gonna do watermelon first. And then pumpkin in between. Alright, that's fine for now. Then we're gonna switch it up here. Now, I'm not saying the European immigrants are bad. I'm just saying there's a system here that they were brought into. So it was all. So the slavers were all fine and dandy with democracy as long as they had an absolute majority. But it's getting to the point in the United States where the slavers don't have an absolute majority anymore. The demographics are shifting, and slavers do not have an absolute majority. And in that case, if they don't have an absolute majority, they can't get control of the government, of the state. So that's when democracy becomes a problem for white supremacists, for slavers. Because they have to be able to control the state and have control in order to enforce their vision. And their vision does not include freedom for everyone. It's only freedom for the elite. So, you know, that's an issue, right? So they're doing more and more ways in order to thwart democracy. Now, if you listen to Lee Atwater was the campaign manager, strategist for Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan is was a bad Republican president in the 80s. He was terrible. And he ended up having Alzheimer's disease. But no one wanted to say anything. So, toward the end of his administration, it was his wife that was pretty much doing everything. Nancy Reagan. And Nancy Reagan was like a big believer in astrology. So U.S. foreign policy was being conducted via astrology. It was awful. It was so bad. It was so bad. Like, I know for a fact Joe Biden is not at the level of Ronald Reagan. Not even close. Ronald Reagan would not be able to do a 1-hour press conference unaided by himself. Could not do it. Just like Donald Trump can't do it either. Donald Trump can't do a 1-hour press conference by himself. Joe Biden can, but Donald Trump doesn't have the ability. He doesn't have the mental fortitude. Which is kind of sad for Donald Trump. That he's losing his mind there. But his followers, you know, don't care, right? It's a cult of personality for them. They're ride or die with Donald Trump. So man, this is so bad. In order to make something like this, though, I would have to stop talking. And I kind of don't. I mean, this is a test of the camera. It's also a stress test of my computer. That's shitty that it fucking died. And you know why the world didn't corrupt? Because I'm not using the C2M, the concurrent chunk management system. That system is maybe it's good, but it will for sure wreck your shit if the power goes out. Because that's what happened to my world the last season. A bunch of times. I had to like save my world, and it was a bitch to save it. It was awful. Anyways, so yeah, so Lee Atwater in the I think it was the 80s or 70s, Lee Atwater, campaign manager for Ronald Reagan, said that the Republicans have to use racism, coded racism, in order to communicate with their constituents, the white people. And that's what they used. And there was ever since there was the like after the Confederates lost the war, right, they still maintained power. And one of the ways they maintained power was denying the right to vote to blacks, to black Americans, to African Americans. They denied them the right to vote, and the way they did it was, you know, a number of ways. Through intimidation, through poll tax, through literacy tests, through all sorts of tricks in order to stop black Americans from voting. That way, white Americans can maintain control of the government. So, So those techniques have been used for a long time, but it's getting to the point where those techniques of voter suppression are no longer sufficient. There's just not enough white people vis-a-vis all the minorities in the United States to maintain white supremacy through sheer numbers. Because not all white people are racists. Not all white people belong to this slavery ideology. So they had to have so many in absolute numbers in order to overcome the people who didn't buy into the slavery ideology. And it's getting to the point where that's no longer feasible. They cannot maintain a combination of voter suppression and white supremacist numbers in order to maintain control. So, in order to maintain power, because their goal is to maintain power, in order to maintain power, they are going to do away with democracy itself. They're just going to get rid of the democracy, because democracy is incompatible with slavery ideology. So you can already see it taking shape in states controlled by slavers. They have a number of voting restrictions. They have gerrymanders. They have all sorts of bad things. They have like voter ID, all sorts of hurdles to stop people from voting. For example, in Florida, the people of Florida passed a law that re-enfranchised all the felons. Now, an issue with like part of the laws of the United States in some states say that if you become a felon, you forever lose your privilege of voting. You're no longer able to exercise political power because you're a felon. You have a history of being a felon. That was and then they combined that with the idea of over-policing. Black populations were over-policed by the white ruling class, which means they were caught up a lot of times in the justice system, and a lot of them became felons. Not because black people are more criminally minded, not because black people are bad, but because the police were sicked on them with the express purpose of oppressing them through violence or whatever, and terror. Through violence and terror, the police were tasked with keeping black populations oppressed. And one symptom of over-policing is that they are disproportionately given the label of felon. And when you're a felon, you can't exercise political power. So that was an indirect way that white supremacists maintain control of the government, is that they denied black people the right to vote through over-policing. Now, that law was struck down by the people of Florida through a process called voter initiative, which means the voters themselves got together to enact legislation. This bypassed the state legislature, which was controlled by white supremacists. However, because the white supremacists controlled the state legislature, all they did was enact a poll tax on the because now people who were formerly felons can now vote in an election, but this goes against what the white supremacists wanted. So the white supremacist legislature passed a law that said before a felon, an ex-felon, can vote in the election, they have to pay off all their fines. And if they don't, and they vote in the election, they will go back to prison. So number one, that terrifies felons. They don't want to go back to prison. Like, that terrifies them. No way. Number two, the trick that the white supremacists did was that there's no way of knowing if or what are the fines. You don't know if you owe fines, and if you do, you don't know how much. So you can't pay it. You can't even pay the fines, even if you wanted. So what that meant was effectively that the state legislature overrode the will of the people and enacted and stopped felons from voting through their indirect way. So that's what happens when you have minority rule. When you don't have democracy and freedom, you're not represented in government. What happens is in the case of Florida was that the slavers took control of the government and are resisting any attempts that would dilute their power into the people. Because remember, the slavers are opposed to freedom. So that's one example of how it happens on the state level. Now you have to magnify that across the whole country, because the slavers need to take control of the federal government, and in a democracy they cannot take control of the federal government. So what they need to do is get rid of democracy, and this was put on display in 2021. When the slavers, as led by Donald Trump, lost control of the federal government. So they were gonna lose control of the federal government. So because based on democracy. So rather than submit to the will of the people, the slavers sought to overthrow the American government. They tried all sorts of tricks in order to stop the will of the people from being enacted. They sent fake electors. They tried to claim fraud in the courts but could never prove it. They tried all sorts of things. Eventually, what they were going to do was fall back on a plan that worked in the year 2000. In the year 2000, the election between Al Gore and W. Bush came down to one state, which was Florida. And it came down to one county, Miami-Dade, Florida, which was going to flip over to Gore. And the W. Bush campaign knew this. So they sent their operative, Roger Stone, to go to the counting location where they were counting the votes and stage a riot, so that the people counting the votes couldn't finish counting the votes. Then the whole thing went to the Supreme Court, which is controlled by Republicans. And the Republicans on the court, 5-4, voted to give the presidency, to not count the votes, and instead award the presidency to W. Bush. That was the first, that was their plan in 2000. So they wanted to do something similar in 2021. They were going to stage a riot at the Capitol so that the House of Representatives and the Senate couldn't certify the vote. Then they were going to kick it to the Supreme Court, where they had control of the Supreme Court, and then their fellow Confederates on the Supreme Court would award the presidency to Donald Trump. That was their plan, but it didn't work out because the U.S. government got it together enough to push out the rioters, the insurrectionists, and then the government was able to certify the vote before the court action could take place. That would give it to the courts to decide. So they got it together before the court could do it. So they were foiled, barely. They were barely foiled by the Americans. The Confederates were barely foiled by the slavers were barely foiled by the Unionists, the Americans. However, the slavers have a lot of people in key positions in the United States. Donald Trump placed a lot of fellow slavers inside the United States government. And one of those places was the federal bench, the federal courts. Again, after he lost the election, he would go on to try to overthrow the government because the slavers can't abide by democracy. But also, what he did was, after he lost the election, he nominated, and his slaver people in the Senate confirmed Judge Eileen Cannon to the federal judgeship. Then, when Donald Trump was absolutely forced to leave the White House, he stole a bunch of U.S. top secrets. He just stole them. And he kept them at his house in Florida. At his mansion, his hotel, whatever you want to call it. His club. His club in Florida. He kept them there. The U.S. government would indict him for stealing U.S. secrets. But the case landed before the judge, Eileen Cannon, the judge that Donald Trump appointed. So Judge Eileen Cannon, her job was to mess up the case as much as possible, to slow it down. Because, there were enough people, the federal government, the Supreme Court was packed with judges friendly to Donald Trump. They made a bunch of rulings that flew in the face of precedents. What is precedent? Precedent is a ruling made by a court many years ago. It was done in the past, many years ago. It was decided. And it was upheld numerous times so that it becomes like a pillar upon which you can build other case law on top of. That's called precedent. Well, the Roberts Court became packed with Trump appointees, and they overturned decades and decades and decades of precedent. In other words, they totally rewrote the legal landscape in favor of Donald Trump. They took away the Voting Rights Act that was made during the Civil Rights era. They took away women's rights to their own bodies by taking away their right to an abortion, their health care. They said that federal agencies could no longer operate as federal agencies. That only the court could decide what to do. And they declared Donald Trump a king by saying the president is above the law as long as what he's doing is an official act, and only the court can determine what is an official act. So Donald Trump, whatever he does will be an official act for the court, but anything Joe Biden does is not an official act. You see how that works? So that's what's currently going on now. Judge Eileen Cannon ruled or dismissed the case that Donald Trump stole secrets from the United States. Now it's going to get overturned in the appellate court, in the 11th Circuit Appellate Court, because not all of the courts are corrupted. But it's going to buy Donald Trump time to overthrow the government again in 2024. And that's what he's planning. He's planning on overthrowing the government again in 2024 because he never got punished for it when he tried in 2020. He never got punished. He managed to delay the courts long enough and to get friendly courts so that he can escape justice and try again. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to try again. Now we can already see the outlines of how he's going to try to do that by looking at Nevada. In Nevada, the Republican county commissioners outnumber the Democratic county commissioners 3-2. So they had an election there, and the party of the Republican Party must not have won. I don't think they won. Their preferred candidate didn't win the election. So in response, the Republicans county commissioners voted not to certify the election. Their preferred candidate didn't win, so they're not going to certify the election. That's essentially what's going to happen. That's what they tried to do in 2020, and that's how they're going to do it in 2024. Where they have power and their candidate loses, they're just not going to certify the election all over the country. That's what's going to happen. Because remember, Republicans are not interested in democracy. They're interested in the slaver culture, in control. For them, for the Republicans, their deity has proscribed a hierarchy, a divine hierarchy that can never be questioned. And the divine hierarchy just happens to place the Republicans on the top. It just happens to do that. It just happens to accrue all the power in the hands of the Republicans. Isn't that funny? So, and you can never question it because their deity proscribed it, and it's a deity, and you can never question a deity. That's why they're deities. So that should tell you the stakes as to what's going on. Like the whole world is built upon, at least the Western world, is built upon the American hegemony of universal human rights. But universal human rights is contrary to the slaver ideology. Slavers do not believe in the universal human rights because that means that the people they oppress have rights and that slavers are bad people. Well, yes, slavers are bad people. Human rights are real. But you can't have human rights and absolute control at the same time. You can't do it. So slavers are going to get rid of the idea of human rights so they can have absolute control. In other words, slavers are closer to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un than they are to France or England or Norway or Germany or Mexico or Japan. They're closer to dictate. The slavers are closer to dictatorships than they are to other democracies. So that's the deal, guys. That's the deal. That's where we're at. Did you know you would be caught up in like a potential in a world and a potentially world-ending conflict? If Donald Trump takes power and the slavers take power, they're going to get rid of all democracy and consolidate power so they never lose control again. The only way you'll take back power and give it to the people is if you have is through violence, because they will never ever give it up. That's what makes the United States so great, is that we're able to transfer power peacefully. But that's what makes it different from all the other forms of government. If you have a monarchy and you have the king and the king dies, do you think there's going to be a peaceful transfer of power? I mean, there is in England, but only because they have the power was divested from the royalty and put into the government. So yeah, you have a peaceful transfer of power there. But in the old days, when you didn't have a government other than the king, rival factions would war with each other to take control of the kingdom. And that happened all the time. All the time. There was always a war going on to take control of the throne. So Donald Trump and the Republicans would bring us back to that kind of conflict. That the only way you could transfer power is through violence. It's a crazy time. Like, Republicans don't believe it. They don't believe, like, okay, not all Republicans are aware of what's going on. A lot of Republicans have been fed this lie. And they believe the lie because they don't have any information to the contrary. If you present them information to the contrary, they will reject it, because it doesn't fit their proscribed worldview. And who is this worldview proscribed by? By the party. By the leader. Remember, they're not free to come up with their own forms and ideas. They have to follow the prescribed system. Anyways, I finished this house. All I need to do is cure that zombie. And to do that, I need nether wart. And to do that, I need to go into the nether. I need to go to a bastion. Because I tried going to a fortress and it didn't have it. I went to 2 different fortresses and it didn't have a room growing nether wart. Which is crazy, man. Like that's the OG place where it should be. What do you mean it's not there? But I went to two different places and they didn't have it. Alright, so yeah, it's not crashing this time. That's good. Knock on wood. Not crashing yet. Yeah, slavery ideology is embedded in look at all this shit. In the idea of whiteness. Embedded, I say. Make a little bit of room here. All right. Ooh, look at this texture pack, huh? This texture pack makes it feel really weird. I dig it. I like the way it feels. But weird, man, weird. Oh, now it's dark. It's dark. Why? I don't have hardly any. I don't have any coal or anything. So it's gonna be dark, guys. Sorry. We'll hold the light. How about that? Yeah, we're in a crazy time. So the other, now I've seen progressives on Twitter, leftists I guess, I don't know if they're progressive or left, but say that they want to absolutely get rid of Joe Biden. That they can't vote for Joe Biden because he's not progressive enough. And I want to like understand them, and I agree with them. But like at this moment, I don't feel I can do it because there's a lot at stake. I absolutely understand Donald Trump will end us if Donald Trump gets in, whereas we have a possibility of going to the future with as long as we have Joe Biden. Joe Biden means we'll have another election. Donald Trump means like we might have an election, but it'll be rigged. Like the way that slavers rigged it back in the day under Jim Crow. Or the way that Russia has elections, which is they don't really. Like they have elections, but it's a sham because the ballot boxes get stuffed, and any oppositions any opposition leader that poses any kind of threat to Vladimir Putin is eliminated, either imprisoned or killed. So even if you don't like Joe Biden, at least with Joe Biden, we'll have another election, another chance to pick someone else. You will never get that chance with Donald Trump. When Donald Trump dies, there'll be a violent surge. There'll be a violent power struggle, and then whoever wins that power struggle is going to be the next leader. You and me will have no say in it because there won't be democracy anymore. Ooh, scary. Going down into the depths with my hella expensive armor. I'm wearing all my good shit. Because I need, like, I died here before because I was overwhelmed and I had shitty stuff. But now my stuff isn't shitty. Like, I can kill that guy easy. Whereas before I could not. Now I'm looking for that nether wart. This is all like... not it. Looking for that nether wart. Oh yeah, no. Just a blank wall. Looking for that nether wart. Ooh, you know what I want? Is some of this nether quartz. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I love nether quartz. Why? Because you can make all sorts of redstone out of it. I love it for the redstone. Is this the wrong way? Did I go the wrong way? There's no fortress here, dude. It doesn't go anywhere. Maybe it does. What if I dig through the rock? Say, I refuse to believe that. There's not another one underneath here? No. Ah, no, there's not. I'm gonna kill you, Blaze. I'm gonna kill you, Blaze, man. Okay. Maybe here? It just seems weird that, like... No, it just ends. Oh, hey. Maybe I can get a better view of, like, this nether fortress from underneath. So yeah, no. There's nothing there. It doesn't even go out. Nether quartz. I will take that nether quartz. Delicious nether quartz. I'm afraid of lava or big holes appearing when I fall into lava. Why, yes, I have experienced it before. It wasn't pleasant. Okay, so it's not happening here. Maybe I should have went in the other direction. See what I mean? Like, here's another fortress, it goes nowhere. It's a, like, maybe it's just like incomplete. Maybe this is like a crossing and not a true nether fortress. True nether fortress! How would you know what a true nether fortress looks like? Well, if I can get outside... Oh, look, there's a way up, but it doesn't go anywhere. I've been up here. Oh, it does go up. Oh shit, and there's like a ton of these guys now. See, like, this is like the, like, I was like, oh yeah, it's almost here, and I'm like, no, it's not. No, no, sorry guys. No nether wart for you. And that's just a blaze spawner that will kill me. I don't even want to look at you. And that's just lava. I mean, we can try to get up above it. I was up above it. Ooh, glowstone. Dude. Dude. I will take your glowstone. Why, thank you. I do like glowstone, in fact. It's delicious. I like how it's all up in the mushroom tree. Like, where are your shroom lights? Like, we don't use shroom lights. Those are the shroom lights. Here, I'm gonna get some shroom lights too, since they're here. Whee! Okay. Maybe I can get a better view. Not really. It doesn't really go anywhere. Alright, I'm getting scared. I wanna go home! How did I get up here? Let's go back. Make sure there's nothing this way. Oh yeah, that's the well. You climb stairs to get here. So, rethinking voxels, right? Isn't this awesome? It's just a pretty view. It's actually like a great view, man. This is like a nice... You can see I have torches over there. I was already over there. But no other places to go. I mean, right, didn't I? This goes nowhere. Yep, nowhere. So I'm resigned to go back home. So yeah, we're in a strange time in the United States. It's historic. And like, this is my attempt at talking to people. This right here. Talk to me. I will talk with you about stuff. Because maybe someone sees something different. I don't know, right? What do you see? You know what I really enjoyed was that I got shot by the blaze, and it didn't kill me. It didn't hurt really at all. I didn't catch on fire, like nothing. So that's a big change from what happened the last time I went to a fortress and then I got shot by a blaze. I caught fire and I lost a lot of life. It was awful. I had to always run away. It was terrible. Yeah, I had a nice interaction with a young clerk. Clerks. So what's terrible about being a clerk is that you're not really at liberty to say what you really want unless the customer allows you, gives you that liberty. Like you're only allowed to go as far as the customer like wants you to, and then if you start pissing off the customer, then it's bad business practice to keep going. So you should just shut up. But like that means they're not really free to like discuss what's going on, what they're thinking, what they're feeling. They're not free. No, they're working. If you want freedom, catch people when they're not at work. Easier said than done. Like, how do I go interact with people outside of work? Well, I can join clubs or something. Join a church. Strange times we live in. This camera is really good. I really like this camera. I'm like digging it. Digging it! I mean, if you pay the money, you should get, get what you pay for. Most times. Sometimes. In this case, I think it worked out. Because I'm getting 60 frames per second out of this camera. And it looks good. It looks good. Oh yeah. Alright, there's that one. Let me drop this stuff off. Okay, let's try the other direction. Scary, scary. Pretty hellish place, right? I think that's what they were going for. So we want this place to feel really, really, really not fun. Like that, they captured it. I do not want to be here. All I need is what's that stuff? Is netherwort. Just give me netherwort, man. How do I get netherwort? Well, yeah, okay. Well, you find it and take it. What if I can't find it? Then you can't take it. Can't take what you can't find. creepy, man. Look at all these souls in the sand. Isn't this ridiculous? Fucking crazy, dude. You're crazy for doing this. How are you gonna get back? Look at your ship been blown up. Oh. So, that's one thing, is I don't have a way of getting out once I jump in. I need to make a... I can shoot you. Hey! Nice! I forgot, I got a bow now. I have a bow now. He's got a bow now. Oh shit. Keep myself topped off. This guy right here. Alright, there's my way out. This is the one direction I haven't gone in yet. Because it was full of blazes I couldn't kill. Alright, there's nothing there. There's that whole side. Motherfucker. But I think I can get there by traveling inside. But I don't know. Oh, look at all this stuff. Lol. What happened here, dude? Let me make some stuff. A box. Okay, I can't see box. I can't pick it up. Oh well, you can't pick it up. Old tools. Hold on to that. Dirt's good. Okay. There's nothing out there. There might be something over there. Hey. Hey, buddy. Nope. Ha ha ha, I love fire protection. So there's stuff up there, but I don't know how to get into it. Well then, I fucking just make my own way into it, right? You make your way into it. Hey, I just did it. I did it. I made my way into it. Hey! A saddle. I'll take the saddle. Oh shit. That is the wither effect. It just sucks your life away. Ah, it got me again. Oh, my cat's coming to, like, sniff. He's like, what are you doing? Shit! Shit, shit, shit. Not now, kitty. Stop staring at me. It's like, I'm gonna stare at you with my magic powers. My magic cat powers. Ooh, nether wart! Nether wart! I got it! I finally got it! It wasn't in anything. It wasn't where I thought it was gonna be. Oh shit. I thought it was gonna be in a farm, and it wasn't. It was... Dude, stop it. Oh, I'm good now. I can go back. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. There's no others, right? All right. Ah! You got shot by the skeleton. You got skeleton. Get out of here, skeleton. Ow. See, I'm losing my health again. Heal. I got what I want, dude. What are you doing? Alright, I don't want to... I can check out the rest. But I don't want to die. I've got, like, what I came for. I'm out of here. The key was fire protection. Alright, there's my way out. Nope, not that way. Ooh, the Great Escape. Oh boy. The Great Escape. Can he make it out, guys? Can he flee? Flee with the goods. Dum dum da dum. Da dum da dum. He's like, I got the nether wart. I didn't think I can get it in the chest. Ow, I got hit by something. I don't know what. Oh, that guy way over there. Man, such a good aim. Ha! Okay. I got it. I got it. I think I'm out. I think I made it. Oh shit. Okay. Hey, alright, I survived. Mr. Dude, I made it, Mr. Dude. I didn't die. I found it. Yeah, it's cool, Mr. Dude. I get to go to the next place now. Oh my god. I get to cure that guy. He's so good. He'll feel so good once he's cured. He'll be like, oh, I'm so happy I'm not dead anymore. And then I have to build some houses by the river. Because I'll be like, I got an idea to cure the guys from the mob farm. I think that's the best way of doing it. Ooh, what a productive gaming session, Mr. Dude. I talked about important stuff. I'm working on my camera here. That looks really good. I stabilized my system, and it's not crashing. That's really good. Yeah, there's a kernel error because the CPU messed up because it doesn't have enough voltage. That's a problem. But we're over it now. It's all good. And I suppose I can give it even more voltage if I need to. I'm just worried about the temperature. That case isn't the best at with airflow. Okay. Here, we can leave that. I'm taking the blaze rods and the nether quartz. We can leave more dirt. I'm taking the nether quartz and the glowstone. And we can leave no more dirt. We'll leave some wood. Some wood, and I'll take the shroom light. And yeah, that'll do it. Yay! Victory! Victory! Got some diamonds too. I've got some more horsey armor. And saddles. I gotta make it like a saddle or something here. But primarily we got that nether quartz, or that nether wart. So I'm gonna make a farm and go to town. Where do I put this? Here. Nether stuff. Ooh, blaze rods. I got enough blaze rods. Oh yeah, we're set. I'm set. Cool. Alright, well, it looks like we're good to go. I think that'll do it for me. Thanks for checking out my show. Until next time, peace. Pogokiro out. Stop.